$107,000 in just 30 days using a high-ticket product in a one-product branded store. Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Camille, known as the ECOM King, and in today's case study, I'm going to be showing you the exact A to Z blueprint that we took to achieve $107,000 in just 30 days during Q4. Now, I definitely recommend that you guys grab yourself a notepad and pen, grab your laptop, grab your computer, because you're going to want to take some notes down, because I'm going to be showing you the exact A to Z blueprint, starting with the store analytics. Now, the only thing that I ask in return for all this crazy free value is that you smash the like button, because it helps with the algorithm. Also, if you're new here or you've been watching my videos for a while now and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn post notifications on, because I do one video a week and I do 2 live streams every single month. So before I actually get into the case study today, I want to give a massive shout out to my 2 business partners, Tyrell Anderson and Vedang, because those were the 2 people that worked together and myself to create this successful store. Now, I'm going to put their Instagrams in the description so you guys can give them the credit that they deserve, because like I said, I'm not a one-man army, guys. So when you watch these videos of success stories, I'm never just a one-man army. So do please give the credit to those that have also helped out with the store. So you can see the Shopify store analytics on the screen, and you can see from the 24th of October till the 24th of November, we've done $107,338 in revenue. And if you look at the online store sessions, we've got 79,000, customer returning rate 2.29%. And if you look at the average order value, it's around about $90. So the product that we're currently selling is at $100, guys. And I'll be explaining the pricing structure in just a little bit of time. So you can see there in just 31 days, and even under 31 days, we've been able to achieve over 6 figures with the store. Now, because we're still running the store and we're still doing advertising for it and we're still scaling it, I am not going to be showing the website today or any confidential information, because obviously I'm not trying to get myself any competitors here. So I won't be showing any of that in today's case study. Potentially in the future, when we scale it really aggressively and it dies out, then we'll do a full case study showing everything. But for now, guys, I won't be showing it. But don't worry, I'm still going to go through all the strategies that we took to actually get it to where it is today. You just won't be seeing any of the confidential information. Now, if we actually hit 5,000 likes on this video, I'll actually upload another video to the YouTube channel of another case study that we've done with another store, and I'll be showing you the actual product, the website, the ad account. I'll be showing you absolutely everything. So guys, this is probably the bit that you've all been waiting for, which is the Facebook ad strategy that we used for the product. Now, before I actually get into the ad strategy, let me break down a few things that really made a big difference with this ad strategy. Number 1, the product is a product that can be sold to anybody, which means we could go for really broad audiences, which means we can scale very aggressively. So the second really important factor is that we have a product that has multiple marketing angles, which means we have lots of creatives that we can make. We have lots of different ad copies that we can make, which means there's a higher chance of finding loads of different winning creatives, which means you can scale for longer. So the third thing that I want you guys to take into consideration is we are selling a high ticket product, but it was never always a high ticket product. We started selling it around about $59.99, and now we've worked our way up to $99.99. Now, the reason why we did that is because collecting the data at $59.99 compared to $99.99 is going to be a lot cheaper. Cost per results, pixel data is just going to be overall a lot cheaper. Now, you have to look at it in the long term, guys. I'd rather collect data cheaper, and then once I've got that data, then start making profit. So to start with, we didn't really make any money. We actually made quite a bit of a loss, but now we've got the data. We are now charging $99.99 for it, and we're making really good margins. So do bear that in mind with high ticket products. Don't always go really high up in the product pricing. Always start quite low. Just try and aim so you can break even, then start to scale it up every couple of weeks. So this is the exact Facebook testing ad strategy that we used. So we started off with an ABO campaign, which stands for ad set budget optimization. And the reason why we used ABO instead of CBO is because that worked better for us on that ad account in the testing phases. And we did test CBO and ABO against each other, and ABO did work out better. And I'd recommend that you guys do the same. Now, instead of that ABO campaign, we did 20 ad sets. Now, the ad set budget was $10 per ad set, and this was to gauge how much we needed to spend on each ad set to get the right bid in, to get the right results in terms of traffic quality. So when we did that, guys, what we did is we had different interest in different ad sets. Now, do bear in mind that 5 of those ad sets had no interest in them. So 15 had interest and 5 didn't. So the reason why we did no interest target in the ad sets is because we wanted to see how broad we could take it, and because our product could be sold to anybody, we want our pixel to get enough data to understand that this could be for anybody, which that helps when you do no interest targeting. Now, the layout for the no interest targeting was 1 country per per ad set for those 5 ad sets, which was United States, United Kingdom, and the top 5. We'd have Facebook feeds and Instagram feeds only, English all as the actual speaking countries, and then we would just let them run and gather that data and let the pixel know that we can do no interest targeting. Now, if you're looking to do no interest targeting, it's a great way to scale aggressively, but you need to come under these 2 categories. Number 1, you either need a pixel that's had a lot of seasoning, which is $2,000 to $5,000, then you can do no interest targeting. If you are in a niche that's niched, now if you're not in a niche and you can sell to anybody, basically your product can be for anybody, then you can get straight into no interest targeting. Do bear in mind though, it is very expensive, but it can be very important for when you scale outwards in the future. Now, the other 15 ad sets that we had in the testing campaign were interest targeting. Now, some interest had nothing to do with other interests. Some interests were really crazy compared to others because they weren't in the same niche. We were literally testing loads of different broad interests in different categories. And like I said to you guys before, because the product could be for anybody, we might as well test everything out and see which works best, which category niche interests work the best. Now, typically when you're selling a niche product, you have between 20 and 80 interests that you could use. With this, there's no limit. We've just got to try and find which niche categories work the best and then go down that route. So that's what we did. And the actual ad set structure was basically doing the top 5. Then we did in Facebook feeds and Instagram feeds only. Then we're doing English all. And then we were doing 21 to 65 years old. So those 20 ad sets in the testing ABO campaign had 3 ads. So 3 ads per ad set. Now, this is really important because you want to work out which is the winning creative per ad set. Now, the 3 ads had different angles that we could approach the target audience in a persuasive way to work out which was the winning marketing angle as well. In those ads, we were running video and image ads to see which would work better, videos or images. Now, the good thing is if images do work better, then you are going to get cheapest cost per result, which is really, really important. And we were hoping that images would work better because then that would mean we were more profitable. And I always recommend that you do test image ads and video ads together in ad sets to see which works better. So this is just going to be a quick conclusion and thought process on why we launched that testing campaign. So the reason why we launch testing campaigns like that is because number 1, we want to work out what interest niches work the best for that product, what age groups work better, and also what countries, then most importantly, which ad works the best. So when we published the testing campaign, we followed these 4 rules to manage the campaign once it was launched. Now, the first rule is the 12-hour rule, and we want at least 1 link click per ad set in 12 hours. If we don't, we turn the actual ad set off. Then the second rule is a 24-hour rule, and we want a cost per click under $1.50, and if it is over that $1.50, then we will turn it off. Then the third rule is the 48-hour rule, and we want 1 add to cart or initiate checkout. If not, we turn the ad set off. And the last rule is we want 1 purchase after 72 hours, which is really, really important. Now, guys, you have to understand when you're doing the testing campaign, you're not there to make money. You're not there to look at your ROAS and say, oh, we're making money or we're not making money. You're just there to collect data but manage it so you don't lose too much money. So the next way we progressed was we started turning things off, and then we started duplicating what worked and then found interest related to what was working, and then we just scaled out that way. And then some ad sets would get increased on budget, so if ones were working really, really well, we may increase it by $3 to $5 depending on how well that ad set was performing. Then what we started doing is we started narrowing down the ads in terms of, again, we had 3 ads running for each ad set. So the ones that did really well, let's say an ad set got a sale, we'd duplicate that ad set and then just narrow it down to the ad that would work the best, because we had 3 ads, so we'd narrow it down to the best performing ad. So it had 1 ad set, 1 ad, that way it worked the best. Now, during this process of us narrowing down and duplicating what's working well and finding similar interests, the target was to get enough data to start running lookalike audiences and retargeting campaigns. Now, it's super important that you do this because you're working always towards those high quality traffic because it's so important. Now, during this period of time, we kept the price at $59.99 and we weren't willing to increase the price till we started getting onto warmer traffic. So the first lookalike that we were trying to work towards was the video view lookalike. Now, when I do a video view lookalike, I do 75%, I do 50%, and I do 25%. And I always look to make sure that I've got 2,000 lookalikes in each one of those. So for example, I want 75% views with 2,000, I want 50% with 2,000, and 25% with 2,000. Once I've hit that threshold, I will then create a lookalike audience. So that's exactly what we did. We kept walking towards that milestone, and by the time we hit that milestone, we were just breaking even. And like I said, during the testing phase to the warm phase, you are going to break even or just lose a couple of $100. So once we hit the threshold to do video view lookalikes, we created an ABO campaign for each percent, 75%, 50%, and 25%. And the reason why you want to put them in different campaigns is because you want to see which which video view would work better, because typically it depends on the audience, but it depends on which works the best. So what we'd do is we'd create 5 different ad sets inside of each one of those ABOs, and we'd group them together. So we'd do, for example, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and carry on up. And the reasons why you want to group lookalikes to start with is because you've not got much data in lookalikes. You want to group them together. That way, when you group them, it's more potential of them doing really, really well. Now, we would run the lookalikes to the top performing country in video views. So for example, United States. And when we were doing the lookalikes for the video views, we were running the best ad for the lookalike. So the best ad out of the 3 ads that we had in the initial phase, we would start to basically run that winning creative into the warm audiences. Now, outside of the warm audiences, we're still testing out. So we always had a testing campaign in the background, letting new things test up. Now, every week we'd put a new creative into the mix, and we'd always put that into the testing phase. And if that new creative would perform better than the older, better creative, then we'd make that the new winning creative. So it's important that you're always testing in a campaign to make sure that everything that you're doing is up to date. So this is how we manage the lookalike campaigns for video views. It's the same way we manage the interest targeting. So we follow the 4 rules, the same rules that I talked about in the testing phase. And we also do the same for scaling. We duplicate what works well and we turn off what doesn't work well. And inside of lookalikes, what you're looking to do when you group them together is you're looking for the group that does well. Let's say 2 to 4% does really, really well. So what we'd do is if that performed the best as an ad set, we'd break that ad set up into 2%, 3%, and 4% to see which percent out of the group did the best. And that's how you scale really aggressive with lookalikes. Now, what we'd also do is we'd duplicate ad sets with 3 sales 3 times and just let them run and hit different ad pockets. What we'd also do is if we have, let's say, between 3 and 5 ad sets inside of one lookalike campaign do really well, we'd duplicate the campaign, turn it into a CBO campaign, and we'll start to do vertical scaling by increasing the campaign budget and the minimum ad set spend per ad set. Then what we're doing is we're working towards the next lookalike audience, which would be page view. And to do a page view lookalike, I like to have at least 3,000 page views on the pixel. As soon as we hit that threshold, we'd create a new ABO campaign just for that lookalike. And again, we'll start off with grouped lookalikes in the different percentages grouped together from 0 to 10 and in 5 ad sets, and we'll do the same as the video one in terms of managing it and scaling it with CBO and duplications. And then we'll look towards to the next lookalike audience. The next one will be view content, and we want 2,000 on the pixel to do view content, and we do the exact same with that as well. And then we'd work towards add to cart, which is 200, then purchase, which is 100, then we'd work towards ad payment info and all the other ones, which would be 100. As soon as we got them, we'd run all of them together and keep going and keep going. Now, when you run all the different lookalike audiences, which you've got around about between 5 and 6, you're going to have around about 2 to 3 that do really well. For example, add to cart, purchase, and let's say page view. So you want to work out which lookalikes work best for your product, and that's what we enabled to do. Now, what we also did is we started testing different countries inside of lookalikes. So let's say add to cart did really bad for us. What we'd do is we'd stop US add to cart and we'd do the next best country, let's say UK, because a lot of people give up on the top performing country. You always want to test the second best country out and see how that works out in the lookalikes. But that's how we normally manage it and scale. So then we move on to retargeting, guys. And when you do retargeting, you always want to make sure that you've got a brand new creative for retargeting, because with retargeting, people have already seen your ads. The whole point is you to show them a new ad, which shows them that they know that you've already seen them. So with a new creative in our actual retargeting, we normally have 5-star reviews as the headline. Then in the ad copy, we say, hello, we've seen that, we've seen the ad. Check out the customer testimonial, and here's an exclusive discount code. Use it at checkout. And then the video would show AliExpress testimonials as the video in a time lapse, or it would actually go off to a company where we get a testimonial made and then we use it as a video, and that's what we use for retargeting. And when we do retargeting, we test all the different ones out when we work towards them: add to cart, view content, purchase, and we work backwards to forwards, so 180 days, and then we work all the way down to 30, and then we work down to 7 days, and we work all the way down inside of the actual conversion window. And again, like I said, we always had that testing campaign off in the background, testing new creatives, new interest to gather more and more data. Because for you guys that don't know, Facebook only cares about what you do in the last 30 days. So if you're not gathering data in the last 30 days by testing new stuff out, you're not going to have a successful pixel, and that's why inconsistencies might take place. Now, what we did to actually diversify ourselves is we started doing manual bidding, and manual bidding is where you start to control the bids, because a lot of people get good results but then it's not consistent. And the way we were controlling consistency was by doing manual bidding through a software called Magix, where it pretty much does it all for you. and they do a great job at it. Now, it's not a cheap software, but when you scale, you're going to want to have that software in place to handle all the manual bidding, because it can get really hard to do and really complicated. So that's why I'd rather have an AI technology to handle it for me. And manual bidding will make you more consistent, because you know that your bids are being done correctly. Because when you leave it to Facebook, a lot of the times their algorithm isn't good enough in anticipating the actual bids that you need to be successful. So if you're currently scaling and you're watching this video, go and check Magix out, because that's the actual tool that I use. And this isn't a sponsored video or anything by Magix. It's the actual tool that I use for all the scaled ad accounts that I use. So moving back onto retargeting, the thing that I love so much about retargeting is you don't need to spend so much money on the campaign. So we did a CBO campaign for about $20, and because it's a high ticket product, that is actually really cheap. And we were running loads of ad sets. I'd say between 10 and 15 ad sets, and we'd let the CBO take place. And we were targeting, as long as your creative is good and as long as retargeting works well on Facebook, you can get some insane ROAS results on retargeting. Now, moving back into the other campaigns that we were running, like the ABO lookalikes, we started to switch them into CBO. So as soon as we found really well performing lookalikes like add to cart, purchase, like I said, between the 5 and 6 lookalikes that you can do, only 2 to 3 will do well. We convert them from ABO into CBO, and those scaled vertically with increasing the budgets aggressively and manual bidding. So moving back into creatives, like I was saying before, we were doing 1 creative per week in the testing campaign to see if it could do better than all the other creatives. But now we were 2 weeks before Black Friday. We started creating our Black Friday creatives and started split testing to see which Black Friday campaigns would work best in the creatives. And that is so important that you give yourself a 2-week window to test new creatives for certain holiday seasons. So that moves us into diversification. So when you hit a certain limit with Facebook ads, you want to start to diversify, because if you leave all your eggs in just a Facebook basket, you're leaving yourself as a vulnerable target. Because we got some great consistencies with Facebook, we're doing really well, we didn't want to rely too much on Facebook. So that's when we started diversifying with YouTube ads. So the reason why we chose YouTube ads as a diversification platform for advertising is because it's very similar to the way Facebook works in terms of video ads. So that's why we use YouTube, and we know YouTube's a lot unsaturated compared to other streams like Google Shopping ads and Google Display Network ads. So that's why we went with YouTube. And because we know with YouTube, our customer base is on there. Because with YouTube ads, it's quite hard because your audience is going to be small because the niche is on YouTube. And because, like I said, our product has no niche, YouTube is a great option for us. Now, another reason why I wanted to diversify is because with Black Friday, it gets really competitive on Facebook and things get very expensive. And on Black Friday, the only thing you can really do is manual bidding. And manual bidding on Facebook is probably a lot harder than it is on Google. So that's why we prefer doing manual bidding on YouTube ads, because we know we can control it a lot more better. And YouTube and Google have features in place to make manual bidding a lot easier and a lot more automated. So that's the reason why we went with YouTube ads to scale. Now let's move more in depth on the video ad structure and how do you make winning video ads, because our video ads were doing really well and our picture ads were doing really well. So what makes these winning video ads and creatives? Now, it's really important because it bases on different products. Now, different products should be made differently in terms of the video structure. So the product that we had, we educated customers in the first 5 seconds, then we showed them the pain that they were going through, then we showed them the outcome they can get with the product, then we showed them a testimonial, then we showed them the call to action. Now, again, depending on the niche, depends on how you should structure the layout of the video in terms of the hook, examples and stuff like that. So it really does depend, guys, on your product. The key to having a successful video ad in general is make each little proportion 5 seconds long. So showing the benefit should be 5 seconds, showing the pain should be 5 seconds, and you always want to have fast, smooth, speed ramping and transitions. You also want to make sure that you show a testimonial in the video ad. You also want to make sure that your video ads are high quality, like 1080p as a minimum. And again, because we were doing a 1 product branded store, it had to match our website value in terms of how good the quality is. You also want to make sure that your video ads has a color theme to it which matches your website to get a better trust value in. You also want to make sure that your video ads contain futuristic or scientific or 3D actual animations. And again, those animations depend on the product. If you're doing a health product, you might want a skeleton 3D view of the body. They work really well. But that's what I'm trying to say to you guys. Depending on the product, really depends on a few little things that you can add in to make them really do well. So another thing that's really important with your video ads is the background music or the background voiceover. Now, certain products you're going to want to use music in the background. Some products you're going to want to use a voiceover in the background. It just depends on the niche. Now, either one will work better for the other. And that's why I'd recommend that you split test voiceovers versus music in the background. background. So if you're doing a voiceover, you obviously don't need text over the video, you just need to keep the video plain and simple. But if you've got music in the background, you want text overlays in there to explain how the product works. Now our video ads range from 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and obviously the retargeting one was 30 seconds and the normal basic ones were 60 seconds. Now our YouTube video ads were around about 1 minute to 2 minutes long. So guys, we actually ordered all our video ads. We didn't actually make them ourselves because we haven't got time to make them. So we actually went to a company called launchvids.com to get them all made because it would save us a lot of time so we could focus on the actual ads themselves. Now to make the actual picture ads for Facebook, we actually went to Canva to make them because Canva give you some really good templates for Black Friday or just in general. So we got the 3D image of the image, then we downloaded it as a PNG, uploaded it to Canva, and there's some really good templates that we put underneath and changed slightly. So this is how we created the best ad copies and ad headlines. What we'd do is we'd go to the Facebook search and the ad library and find other competitors in our niche selling products very similar to ours, even if they're not similar to ours, even in the same niche. And what we would do is we would look to see what kind of words, what kind of slang they would use, what really congrued really well with their audience, and we'd take that into our own consideration, and we would make short, long, and medium ad headlines and ad copies, split testing to see which worked the best. Some had emojis, some didn't have emojis. We were testing loads of different marketing angles. Now the ad copy would have to match the video angle that we were doing as the video ad. Same with the ad headline, it would all have to match so it could stay congruent with that marketing angle that we tried persuading our audience with. Now if you learn anything from this case study, we did loads and loads of split testing, guys, on videos, ad copies, ad headlines. We did so much split testing, and that's what made us so successful with the market. So now let's dive into the apps that we've got installed on the store. So we've got something called Ali Reviews, which is the reviews from AliExpress onto your Shopify store. Then we've got Facebook app, which the Facebook app is where you can integrate the e-commerce manager into your Shopify, which is the new pixel setup, and it gives you loads of new cool features, which I'll be covering on a different video. Then we've got Gem Pages, which is the actual company that we use inside of Shopify to actually create our website. And Gem Pages give you so many more features that Shopify give you to create a really good looking website. And as I was saying to you guys before, this is a one product high-end store, so it looks really, really nice. And the only way we're able to achieve that really professional high-end look with animations and stuff like that is with Gem Pages. Now, if you want to see a video about me creating a store with Gem Pages, let me know in the comment section below and I'll make a video. Then we've got the Google app installed as well, and we're actually running Google ads, YouTube ads specifically. Then we've got Klaviyo for our email marketing. Then we've got Lucky Orange, and Lucky Orange lets you see what people are doing on your website in great depth, so you can do split testing and see what works better, and you're going to get a real good value from that because it's not just going to be some taunted information that Shopify gives you. This is going to be live tracking information, so you definitely know what's working well and what isn't working well in your split testing. Then we've got one-click upsell with Zipify, and it's always important that you have a one-click upsell to increase your AOV because your AOV is going to help you be really profitable. Then we've got Report Pundit, which is going to help you with your reports. Then we've got SMS Bump, which is your SMS marketing. Then we've got Tyler Live Chat, which I'll be covering in a little bit, which is just a live chat on your website. You can do cool features with that. So the next app that we've got installed is something called TrackShort. I've not actually really covered this one much before, and TrackShort is a really important app that you need to have when you scale. And what this enables you to do is automatically update PayPal tracking numbers onto PayPal without you having to do them, which will save you a lot of time. So the next app that we've got is something called True Profit, and this one helps you work out how much you're actually making. And as I always say, guys, it's all good seeing those flashy revenue numbers, but how much money are you really making? At the moment, we're making between 20 and 25% in profit, and that's expected to go up as we go down the private labeling route and stuff like that, which I'll be covering at the end of the video, which is all about what's the future of the store. Then the next app we got is called Accountify, and Accountify is just a great way to do your accounting on your Shopify store. So that's another app that we've got in place. Then if we actually take a look at the layout step by step of the website, it goes something like this. The home strip, which shows a 3D animation of the product, and it looks really, really nice, and it's got the shop now button. Then the next strip has a image of the pain that they're currently going through or the stressful problem they're going through. Then it goes over what we're actually going to achieve with the product. Then if we scroll down again, it shows an image, a lifestyle image of somebody wearing the product, and then on the right hand side it goes over the benefits, and then it has these testimonials on the next strip. And then the last one is the order now strip, and the order now strip has an image of the product, the box it comes in, and the shopping bags, and all of those imagery of the shopping bag and the product box actually has our logo on it. So when people buy it, they're going to see this really nice branded product, and they're going to think, wow, that's actually really amazing, and we're buying from a really nice high-end luxury brand. And then if we scroll down, it goes over the tips and tricks of actually relieving that problem that somebody's going through without even having to buy our product. Now this is really important. We're actually giving them 3 tips of actual ways to get over the problem they're currently going through without actually having to get them to buy our product. We're just giving them free advice, and that is so good. And depending on the niche that you're in, depends on the advice that you give. Now, if you give out really good advice for free, people are going to see you as the professional, as the industry leader. Then it's going to think, wow, if that free stuff helps me, then why not buy the paid stuff? So that's a great way to build up even more value and position yourself as an authority. So guys, this was our thought process on why we picked this product, how we actually found the product, and what made it a good product in general. So we started off by thinking we're currently in Q4, which means it's going to be expensive to advertise in. It's going to be a lot harder because it's going to be more competitive. What can we do to get around that? Because as you know, Q4 again is the best time of the year, so we've got to try and find a middle ground here so we can scale to the moon. So what we did is we wanted to find a product that had a high perceived value, so obviously we can charge a high margin for it. And again, we are actually selling the product at $100, so we're actually buying it for around about $20, $30, so we've got a very good margin there. But because we can only charge that price if it's a high perceived value, which means the customer comes to the website and thinks, wow, it's worth that price because of the features and the benefits, and it comes down to the branding as well. That's so important. So we wanted to have something high perceived as well, not just because of that, but when we give out discounts like Black Friday discounts, we're going to want to say that this product used to be, let's say, $150, but it's now $100. So if it hasn't got the high perceived value, we're not able to do those aggressive discounts because of those times of the year like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So that's why it's so important to do so. So this is actually how we found the winning product. So what we did is we actually went to a website called Peakster that shows you winning advertisements on Facebook from a few weeks ago, a few months ago, and we found a product from 6 months ago that was in a forever green niche. And we always wanted to go with a forever green niche because it means that we can have this store for long term, and we can also brand it and private label it, so then we can have it for around about 1 to 3 years, even 5 years, and then potentially sell it. We also wanted a product that was in a niche where anybody could buy it, because in the day, if you want to scale aggressively, you want to try and find a product that can be sold to everybody. You know, the posture corrector product, that product is so successful because anybody can buy it, and that's why you can scale it so aggressively in the past. So what we did is, like I said, we went to Peakster, we found a product from 6 months ago that did really well, and we thought, hold on a minute, that fits all of those things that we're looking for. But unfortunately, that product wasn't as good in terms of quality. It wasn't a very good quality product. Also, we thought it's a little bit saturated now. It's not oversaturated, but it's a little bit saturated. So we thought, let's go to AliExpress and see if there's a newer version of it. And this is a massive little value bomb here, guys. A lot of the winning products from a few years ago, a few months ago, a lot of companies will add a new variation of it, which is new and improved. So if you can find that new and improved version, then you can really scale it aggressively. And that's exactly what we did with this product. Now, another really important factor of this success story is we are in a niche where people don't mind spending a lot of money because they know when they spend a good amount of money on these products, they're going to get a lot of value in return. So guys, that brings us on to the logistics part of this case study, and this is by far the most important part. And I've always said the hardest part in Q4 is not the sale, it's always making sure the logistics can back up the amount of sales that you get. So with the logistics, we wanted to make sure that when we start off, we want to limit the risk that we take. So we obviously start off with the dropshipping business model where we only buy once we get an order, but the supplier that we're buying from actually ships directly from the States and directly from Europe as well. They have a few countries in Europe they ship from. So that meant we had really fast shipping times from those direct countries, which was really helpful. Now, once we found out the product was a winner and it's also profitable, we are now going down the private labeling route. Not just down the private labeling route, we're also buying in bulk with a private agent as well. So these are the reasons why we wanted to private label and get an agent. So the number one thing is when you private label, your company becomes a massive asset, because now that stock that you're buying in bulk becomes a lot cheaper, which means that you're going to have higher profit margins, which is super important during Q4. Because if you can save, let's say $3 per unit, that is a massive increase on, let's say, 1,000 orders. Not just that, but that enables you now to private label the product, which means put your branding on it, which then becomes an asset to your company, which means in, let's say, 2 years when you scale it aggressively, you can sell that brand, because obviously it's now a brand where you've got a customer base, you've got a loyal customer base, you've got something that is an asset, so you can sell it for a lot of money. Now, something that a lot of people don't tell you is you make more money selling the store than you do typically running it. So that's why it's so important to build the asset and grow the asset over time. Now, the benefit of having a private agent means you only deal with one person, you trust that one person, and they get you really good shipping times. And if there's any issues, they hold accountability, and it tends to get you good refunds and and returns if anything goes wrong. So let's say, for example, it comes down to the agent that it was their fault they couldn't get, let's say, 10 orders to customers on time. They'll normally take the hit, you won't. So that's also some great other benefits of having agents. So guys, that moves us on to what the future plans are for this store and what we've got in mind to actually really scale this store for the rest of Q4. So what we've got in plan is we're actually private labeling the product. We're starting to get really fast shipping times between 3 and 5 days with our agent. We're also working on CLV, which is customer lifetime value, getting customers to come back to our website and order more products similar to the one that was selling them, so increase the AOV and just increase the whole profit in general. We're also working on split testing different funnels at the checkout to see which works the best. So we're also working on free value proposition methods to actually get more people into our email list and our list in general, and then try and slowly sell to them. And this is something that not a lot of people teach you about. So we're actually giving away a lot of free ebooks at the moment about how to cure a certain pain without buying the product, and that way we're just going to get lots of emails in. So guys, that is it for today's case study and how we were able to achieve $100,000 in just 30 days. So guys, if you want to see the part 2 of this where we actually show you the store and everything to it, let me know in the comment section. And again, if you want to see a case study where I show you everything, not this store but another store, then if we hit 5,000 likes on this video, I'll share it as soon as we hit 5,000 likes. I'll see you guys in the next video.